Hello and welcome to another episode of Coding Horror with Bramble Shadow 4. What's broken today? It's my website. So what's supposed to happen is, right, you click, I have right here on my website, I have embedded a YouTube feed of all of the lovely pony videos I still need to watch. And what's supposed to happen is when you click this button, right, it removes it from the feed and then you refresh it and then it updates, it syncs with the cloud. So that, I can watch it and it'll keep track in real time and blah, blah, blah. So what's the problem, you say? Well, if I were to push the button really quickly, right? Boom. And then I refresh the page. Okay, it didn't happen that time. But, oh, this video didn't go away. And then I do it again. And, oh, the video is back. And then I refresh again and the video is back again. Now, if I do it one at a time, well, it's still not even working, right? But like theoretically, right, one at a time, let's come on, let's do, yeah, it worked. But as you can see, it's very inconsistent here, right? So you're like, well, what's possibly going on here? And so you're going to start by like using your debug tools in the browser, right? Like the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the network. You're gonna refresh, and you're gonna be like, boom, boom, boom. Are any of the API calls failing, right? And then you're gonna be like, well, they're all 200. It should be working perfectly, right? No. The videos still keep coming back. And that's going to be a trend, right? Like you see it, like you expect it, everything returned 200. And so like you're like, I wonder what's going to be. So you're gonna open up the code, right? And then you're going to be like, well, here we got our code. Everything's going through this lovely function in homepage.js called save data, right? And then we set this to the database and it sends it to a secret URL, which you do not know. But yeah, it's basically just saving there, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be like, well, maybe it is going wrong, right? Maybe we're going to do this, right? We're going to put a try catch loop. And then if there's any database error, we'll get console.log or console.error. Something really bad happened, right? So we're going to do that just in case to try to catch this, right? And then you're going to notice, nothing. Oh, something happened here, right? And then you're going to get really distracted by this thing happening. But this is happening on page load. It's not even happening on the actual YouTube. In fact, I've done a little bit of pre-work right here. So we have message. And message is going to be triggered every time we click on channel. We're going to mark as read. We're going to save this here. So we're going to filter those out to just the ones that are YouTube. So if message, we'll console.log error here. And we'll add our message. And so you're going to be distracted by that really quick for a while. You're going to be like do. And then you're going to notice that, whoa, we're not getting any errors, right? So what's actually happening? And this is when you have to remember something you learned in networking class long ago, and that you remember that actually when you send out something on the internet and then you send out another thing on the internet, the two things can arrive out of order. And in fact, that is actually what is going on here. It is not that your code isn't sending the data correctly. It's that by the time when you do 5 things quickly in a row, they're going to arrive in a different order. And if the last thing doesn't arrive last, it's going to wipe out the data of the first things. So to kind of go over through here, you see everything's 200, but you'll notice all the requests return in basically an arbitrary order. And it's that arbitrary order that is actually causing the refresh to not happen correctly. So how do we fix that error, right? Well, what we do is we come back here to the save data function, and we're going to add some extra things. What we're going to do is we're going to call it the channel state, and we're going to set it to ready, right? And we're going to find ready as var ready equals just 0. Got to get it all in caps. And then we do var sending equals 1, and then var needs to resend equals 2. So what we do here is, because we need everything to save in order, what we're actually going to do is we're going to queue it up. So if we call save data when it's already saving, we're not actually going to save. So what we're going to do is if channel state equals ready, what we're going to do here is in that case, we're going to do this. then we're going to send the data. But otherwise, we're gonna set it as we're gonna set the channel state to needs to resend, because that way, if you call this multiple times in a row, it's not going to try to send it over it. It's going to flag it as needing to resend. Then here, when we do this, we're going to say channel state equals sending. And then when we're done here, after we've successfully sent or failed to send, that's when we're going to see if channel state equals needs to resend. Now this might seem really weird because didn't we send it up here to sending? Well, what happens when we call the await call is that something else can run, in which case it might call save data and the state gets sent to channel set needs to resend. So then if we do resend, then what we'll do is we'll just call save data again. And if that hasn't happened, we'll set the channel state equal to ready, because it's now ready to send again. Otherwise, we're going to keep resending. Oh, and we also have to add so that we set it to ready, and then it can send. But otherwise, we just reset it to ready, and that should do the trick. So let's pull it back up in the database, and we're going to just redo it again. Boom, 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 boom. This video's on top. It worked. Do 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 do. And then we do that again. Boom. Oh yeah, it's working. Woo! So yeah, when your network calls break, always remember things arrive out of order. And that's another episode of Coding Horror for y'all.